the more you look at the team list, it's hard to pick who actually is going to be, who should be the favourites on paper.
Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at fullback, the guy has been a great player, but he's not the same level anymore, and he hasn't played fullback for a long time.
I'm backing PNG to make some waves.
Hello and welcome back to Ahead of the Game Sports Chat, Sports Pez Jez, Tuck Sports Takes from bets.com.au. It's Pack Champs time, tournament preview. The squad stuff that we did went off.
Yeah, great stuff. Seems to be a lot of hype around the islands about the Pacific Championships. Super exciting. We got a little taste of it with PNG playing Australia in the Prime Minister's 13 on the weekend. PNG did good. I think we're betters. So the line was 30 points. They went down, I think it was 28-10. Mm-hmm. So that was just obviously with some players in, some players out. So it's definitely a good base there. It was nice to get a little taste test of some international footy. But it gets serious this weekend.
Yes, and we're going to get into a preview of the Cup, Pack Champs Cup, which is the main tournament, which includes the New Zealand Kiwis, Tonga and Samoa, with Australia now this year playing an Ashes series against England. I think they rotate out every year, right?
Well,
one of those four teams.
Seems like that.
Yeah. And then the bowl between PNG, Fiji and the Cook Islands. So we'll get into that one in a little while. But first up, Jez, the Pack Champs Cup. Are the Kiwis rightful favourites?
The more you look at the team list, it's hard to pick who actually is going to be, who should be the favourites on paper. But I think you've got to take, history into it. And the Kiwis should, rightfully be the favourite. But I'm not sure that they're going to win. So if that makes sense, because man, these teams are so competitive now, obviously with players changing their alliances and playing for their island instead of trying to have their allegiance to Australia or to New Zealand. So I think it's making this whole tournament much more interesting. We're going to see it be so competitive year in and year out. It's not just a given that Australia or New Zealand are going to take out these international games anymore. So, it's huge. The Kiwis are stacked. All of these teams are stacked. If everything goes right, they should win. But the big doubt is their halves.
Yeah. So we see got Dylan Brown up on the screen here. He will be partnering Kieran Foran, who essentially comes out of retirement to to play this game. But a stalwart for the Kiwis throughout the years. He is a great game manager, but the question will be whether he will be able to match it with the dynamic running and the speed of what the other two teams will bring with Isaiah Katoa and Jerome Luai and, those kind of guys that will be up against.
Yeah, and then you think even defensively, you're coming up against some hard runners that are hard runners in the NRL, and then they put on their international jerseys and are going to make them even harder to tackle, you feel like. So I think physically for Kieran Foran, it can be tough. We saw it, he was carrying injury all year, felt like for the Titans. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be somewhere where teams will be attacking for sure.
So they beat Australia, was it 30-0 in the final of
2 years ago,
2023?
Yeah.
And that team, that was stacked as well.
Yeah.
And it was. Kieran Foran played in the hooker role, but it was Jerome Hughes that was the halfback that year. And I think that makes quite a bit of difference for New Zealand, having Hughes as the game manager and his kicking game compared to now Foran and Dylan Brown. And, Dylan Brown, I gave him a bit of shit a few years back about his defensive qualities as a half, but I was shown up and para fans were giving it to me, saying he was one of the best defensive halves in the league.
Yeah.
Whether or not he is still that and what that'll be when he comes to the Knights is a question that will need to be answered. But I think they are, in terms of their halves, at a bit of a disadvantage this time around compared to that 2023 tournament.
Yeah. And then even sort of last year, I know their halves were unsettled. Also, Nico Klockstadt played in the halves with Sean Johnson last year, but it was the farewell of SJ in his whole career. So you knew that he was going to stand up in. Well, it wasn't their final, but they were playing for survival against PNG to not be playing down in the bowl.
Yeah.
So, but they certainly put on a show and smashed PNG 54-12 there. And Johnson played an integral part. And also we saw the appearance of a guy called Casey McLean in that final, where he scored 4 tries on debut and gave us a little taste of what was to come in the 2025 NRL season for the Penrith Panthers.
Yeah, the guy was amazing.
Yeah.
And, he was kind of the catalyst of that. And pushing out a guy like Paul Alamotti in the start of the season, where in a Penrith side that were defending champions.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty big accomplishment. And then from that display on the international level. And that just goes to another thing. And we're going to get into all these teams a little bit more, but just the you would say ability, but so many Panther juniors now represented in all of these teams.
Yeah.
And not only the teams now that are playing in this competition, but even the Australian team.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, like, I counted the which ones did I counted? The
Samoan team.
Yeah, Samoan team was 8.
Yeah.
8 players.
Yeah.
That were from Penrith.
And then and then in the NRL, there's obviously the Bulldogs and the West Tigers that are now starting to fill up with Penrith Panthers players. So
crazy.
Definitely what a development channel Penrith is. Who would have thought out in Penrith?
So the player we have up on screen now, Jarome Luai.
Yeah.
One of those players that we've spoken about. He's gone over to the West Tigers, but he will be the catalyst for this Samoan team that could possibly take out the champs.
Yeah.
Probably, would you say they're the biggest contender apart from the Kiwis, just because of the way they have 2 halves.
Yeah.
Whereas Tonga don't.
Yeah, sure, but I'm not feeling comfortable saying who's going to take out this whole, I guess, cup anyway. But you'd have to say, fair enough, that they are the next best. And it's funny, you've got Jarome Luai in there, and then you've got Blaise Talangi, the guy that, I don't know, not replaced him, but filled his spot in Penrith, now both playing together for Samoa in the halves. It's going to be an exciting combination with those two, because they're both live wires and can do some pretty special things. And we know that Jarome Luai now has started to play a more game management role over at Penrith. So West Tigers. So that's obviously going to be the role that he's going to have to take here as well, you would presume, with Talangi sort of emerging as a half in the NRL and has been guided by Nathan Cleary all year. So you're going to have to expect a more sort of game management, mature performance from Jarome Luai, maybe, instead of being that usual live wire, unpredictable runner that I think we're used to with him. And then you've got what a backline of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Brian To'o, Stephen Crichton, Taylor May, and Isaac Targo. It's pretty much the old Penrith back four, besides Tuivasa-Sheck being changed out for Dylan Edwards.
Yeah.
So very, very comfortable with each other. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get a lot of work from them, which is going to help their forwards, which makes Samoa extremely dangerous.
Yeah. And I think that, we're going to see these teams match up in week 1, New Zealand up against Samoa. And I've tried to start thinking a little bit about, okay, well, how does this game play out? What are the game plans for these two teams? And you look a little bit at the forward line, Payne Haas. So he's going to probably be a pretty central part of how they structure their game plan and getting those meters up through the middle to then allow this star backline to create room and score tries on the edge.
Yeah.
Up against the Kiwi forward line, so I have to get the list up. There's so many different names here. Fisher Harris and Leota. So guys that are also quite have a good combination with their time in Penrith. Do you see Payne Haas getting the upper hand over Fisher Harris and Leota just in the meters gain department? Or how do you see these forward lines kind of battling each other to get those meters up the middle to then allow the space to create on the edge?
Yeah, like it's going to be what a battle. But you've got sort of, I think you got to also look at the combination of Payne Haas and maybe Junior Polo that he's going to be working with. But then they've sort of got a little bit of a wild card Samoa with Terrell May in at lock or predicted to start at lock. So he's going to also be able to do a lot of work for them. I think we've saw the caliber of player that he is this season. And he's going to be a part of that battle as well. So yeah, it's a tough. I think it's very, very tough to call because you've got some big boppers there, but then you've got I see the Samoans just having maybe a little bit more offload ability, a little bit more speed maybe as well. Because the Kiwis are maybe a little bit bigger with Leota and Fisher Harris. And then you've got, I guess, Joseph Tarpany coming in at lock that'll also be doing a lot of work, but we know that he sort of fits more of that versatile big boy role. So it's going to be an interesting clash. It's like I said, it's not easy, man.
No,
none of these predictions are easy.
No, and it'll be interesting to see. We're just looking at the predicted lineups on the NRL website. They've predicted that the Kiwis will take 2 utilities into the game with Keanu Kinney and Phoenix Crossland. I don't think they do that, especially with, Leota's not a big, massive minutes player. And then Aaron Clark and Naufau White on the belt. Like, okay, Aaron Clark can do his bit, but you essentially only have 3 props and have that rotation work. It's like against in a game where it could possibly be quite a big forwards battle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these players are going to be going at each other from minute 1 to minute 80.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you probably need to carry 4 quality props into the game to make sure that you guys get a rest.
Or at least some big forwards. You sort of look at the guys that haven't made that predicted list, and if we're trying to fill that hole, you've obviously got Nelson coming in, and even probably Xavier Willison, because Xavier Willison he's quite versatile. I think you can play him in the second row. He can also do a lot of like big boy work and take hit ups. So I think I'd be looking to bring in somebody like that more than taking in both Crossland and Kinney. It doesn't seem that it would be a very wise decision.
But it feels a little bit like, just looking at that team, the New Zealand team, it feels a little bit that everywhere except their halves, they have a quality level. So like their lowest is still very high. Except Kieran Foran, really.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at the Samoan team and Sean Bloor did okay this year, and he's gotten better as it goes. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck at fullback, the guy has been a great player, but he's not the same level anymore, and he hasn't played fullback for a long time. What are you expecting of him? And what are you expecting of Iuelu as your dummy half, a guy that comes off the bench sporadically for the Roosters, or has started a few games this year, but their lowest level is a little bit lower than the Kiwis, but their ceiling is probably they're a bit higher.
Yeah, I completely agree. Luelo is a little bit of a weak point for them. Obviously, not playing, not as a renowned starting hooker. So but they've got so much talent, and it's like that back line is brutal, and then the versatility in their forwards and second rowers with like Nanai and Terrell May, and then you've got guys that aren't even on that list that are sitting sort of, I don't know, outside of this predicted 18 with Failongo, and you've even got like Dean Mariner as that can slot into the back line as well. That's obviously, a grand final winner. So they've got players that can fill holes, and I think that the excitement that Samoa brings is a little bit more than I guess maybe a structured game that you can expect from New Zealand.
So the third team in the Pac Cup another team that could possibly take it as well, Tonga.
Yeah.
And here I think we're both in agreement that their depth in their halves is where maybe they are going to struggle.
Yeah.
And not to the same extent as the Kiwis, because at least those guys play halves and have played halves for a long time. But here looking at Isaiah Katoa, and he could be quite possibly the best player of this tournament, but he's going to be lining up alongside a 5'8" that doesn't play it. So it's probably the predicted 5'8" for Tonga is Isaiah Yongi from the Parramatta team. Fantastic year for the Eels, but played fullback.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to expect from him in this role? And then, their backline is also pretty darn good. Rob Toya came out of nowhere this year. His defense is just amazing, and we saw it up against in the Origin, just like how good he was defensively.
Yeah. Shut down anybody in the game.
Yeah.
If you shut down Crichton, you can shut down anybody.
Exactly. So, and the chances that they're going to be attacking down his side and making any inroads or scoring tries, that's pretty low. You got Daniel Tupou still finishing tries at an amazing rate this season, and now Katoa having that opportunity to kick to a guy like Tupou.
Yeah.
Tolu Kola couldn't tackle the guy all season long until he got injured.
Quickest guy in the comp, arguably.
One of the strongest.
Yeah.
Through the hips.
Yeah.
But maybe it's their depth in the forwards and the depth in the halves that could possibly be the difference here. But it's a marginal difference.
Yeah. I don't know if you can say that they don't have a lot of depth in their forwards. Like, you've got Fanua Blake, you got Stefano, Eli Katoa, Halasima, the emergence of him.
Yeah, but it's the guys
Jason
coming
Tamalolo,
off the bench. Okay, are you getting Felice Kafusi and Mo Fotuaika?
They're two Origin players.
Yeah,
were. But,
Mo got dropped this year because he wasn't living up to standards. And Felice, how old is he? He's still doing well.
He'll get suspended in the first 5 minutes anyway for a high tackle and be out of the Pac Champs for the rest of the tournament, because it felt like he spent more time at the judiciary than he did actually on the field this year for the Dolphins. So, but there's still a lot of class there, and maybe those guys don't have to play a whole lot of minutes either. And you look at the actual quality of their starting 13, is up there, arguably as just as good, if not better, than the other two teams in this division or in the cup. So,
given the quality of the forwards in all three of these teams, you could definitely be drawn into the thought process of these game plans being very forward dominant, forward centric. But then you go, okay, well, look at the back lines.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, these guys need to be given the opportunity to shine as well.
Yeah.
I think it could come down to kicking games.
Yeah.
And Isaiah Katoa, again, could be the best player in this tournament across all 6 teams and could single-handedly win games for his guys just with his kicking game, because I would expect that these games are going to be pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be moments, and I think that there is all this class in all these back lines, and I think it's going to be who finishes, who has this better efficiency, try scoring efficiency that we discuss a lot, is who's going to actually take their chances when they can build pressure, and which teams are going to be able to defend. Because I think when you've got it like these star-studded lineups and everybody's coming together in just a short period of time, it's who works out their defensive structures the best and can defend their line, because there's so big risk of these games of any team building pressure under certain periods of the match, because they are so evenly matched. So I think it's who's going to be defending the best and can get the chemistry in their defensive line that'll win this tournament.
Okay, so round 1, we said the Kiwis, they play Samoa on Sunday, the 19th of October, at Go Media Stadium in Auckland. Then round 2, it is Samoa taking on Tonga. So Tonga will have the ability to watch the first game,
which is huge,
and maybe adjust their game plan about what they see on the field there. That's at Suncorp Stadium on Sunday, the 26th of October. And then round 3, the Kiwis back to take on Tonga at Eden Park in Auckland on the 2nd of November.
Don't play enough games at Eden Park. I love the Eden Park, but I think it's more from the rugby.
Yeah.
But Eden Park, it's an amazing venue. Cool to have some rugby league there.
Yeah. Then you have the final on Sunday, the 9th of November at Combank Stadium in Sydney. So you can imagine the crowd there would be just amazing.
Western Sydney, where a lot of these islanders, at least in Sydney, all are out there. That's why Penrith has the pedigree in all of these teams. Exactly. It's going to be absolutely pumping.
Some predictions. We'll go through each game and we'll predict some outcomes. So first up, New Zealand against Samoa. What are we thinking? Are you thinking high score but still close? Are you thinking low score?
Oh man, that's tough. That's very. I think. I don't know. Like you said, you trying to balance up if it's going to be forward dominated and possession, or if it's going to just sort of explode. But I'm gonna say that it's going to be a high scoring game.
Yep.
The first one of the tournament. Against two of these incredible backlines. And to answer your next question, I'm going to say that Samoa get the upset and beat the Kiwis. Now that we've talked it out, and I said that Kiwis are the rightful favourites, but now we've sort of discussed it and had a good deep dive, duck, dodge at these teams, I think just Samoa's backline is too brutal.
So Tonga and Kiwis played in week 3, it was 25-24. Tonga didn't score against Australia in week 1, but it was 18-0. And it was 22-10. So they aren't like 30, 40-point games like per team. So but they're still scoring a few tries. I think also that Samoa win this game against New Zealand. And I think it's going to be 22-18. So I think it's going to be a little bit of points, but not a blowout. Then we go to round 2. Samoa against Tonga. I'm taking Tonga, so I'm going to almost give a win to each through and it's going to be decided.
Sit right on the fence. Well done, son.
Well, no, but I think just the way that these teams match up compared to the other ones, and I think that obviously the week off first, giving the opportunity to construct a game plan around it, and then I just don't see again. I'm putting it all down to Katoa. I think he can come in and be the guy to lead them to victory.
You were red hot on Katoa, mate.
He's such an amazing player.
Yeah, got some vibes. Look, I'm going to go against you and say that Tomoa win this. That way, that's sitting on the fence, isn't it? Blend the two together. Tomoa will win, but Samoa will. Samoa will get up. I just think. Yeah, it is all about that Penrith connection for me there, and I think even with Blaise Talangi coming in and playing with Jerome Luai, I think they're going to combine well because they're from the same route, which is the Penrith Panthers, and they're going to know how each other play. And I just see that backline doing so much work for them that it's going to free up the ability for the forwards to dominate against any other forward pack, and especially defensively. So I like Samoa to, apparently come out of this group on top.
Yeah. Final game then would decide in your eyes, decide their opponent, New Zealand and Tonga. I'm going to take the Kiwis to win this one. Forward battle and kind of competition on the line. They'll need to get a win. So also predicting around 20 points to 18, I think, here.
Oh, I want to take Tonga. I want to take Tonga. I'm going to take Tonga and say the Kiwis strike out.
All right.
Halves combination, not strong enough for me. No one that can really manage the game. I think I'm going to jump on the Katoa train there and say that he's going to be the difference, and just the energy that will come from Tonga and a big performance against Samoa and wanting to make sure that they don't lose both matches. I think they're going to get up for this last one and pip the Kiwis.
Who wins the Cup? The grand final would be, in our eyes here, Samoa against Tonga. I'm going Samoa. Samoa win the Pac Champs Cup.
Yeah, I'll jump on board too.
Yeah. All right, let's head over to the bowl and Pacific Champs Bowl. PNG are out in front. So they match up. Well, their Prime Minister's 13 and the Australia Prime Minister's 13 played on the weekend, last weekend. And it wasn't a massive blowout, even though Australia did kind of muck around a fair bit with their lineup throughout that match. But the PNG team also missing a couple of key players that was playing in the Super League Grand Final.
Yeah. Like they've actually got a couple of guys there. And one key guy that I want to sort of point out straight away is Lockheed Lamb. Because he's been absolutely dominating for Lee Leopards. He leads the whole Super League with 41 try assists on the season. And just to put that in perspective, the next best, not even sure who it was, but had 30 try assists. So 11 more try assists, 25% more try assists than anybody else in the Super League. So obviously he's going to make a massive difference. Wasn't there in the Prime Minister's Cup game. A real proud PNG player. So we saw what PNG were able to do last year. And there's under Jason Demetriou, they've just taken huge steps. And now they've actually had some time. It feels like they've been using a very, very similar squad for the last couple of years in the Pacific Championships. And we even see sort of Nanu McDonald as well, sort of a forgotten guy, obviously, one of the many that have played for the Gold Coast Titans before, also doing phenomenal over there in England. And then when he puts on a PNG jersey, he's a phenomenal try scorer and can break open games. So I think that combination between those two guys is key for PNG. And yeah, I think they're rightfully favourites to come out of this group on top and have a chance to play in the Cup next year.
So Nando McDonald in that PM of the 13 game, 127 run meters, 56 post contact. He had 9 tackles, did a bit of kicking, 4 kicks.
Yeah.
And was also didn't play the whole game. Played 67 minutes. So they mucked around a little bit with this squad as well.
Yeah, obviously with the guys that are going to be featuring a lot in this tournament.
But I think there are guys here that can definitely, and to your point, that the squad is there and they're continuing to play. They're playing more often, and also now with the eyes on the PNG Chiefs team that has been announced for the NRL, that those combinations are now bearing fruit because these guys have played together so often now, and it's so cool to see just the development of rugby league, across all of these nations.
Yeah.
But in PNG in particular, and the now it's no longer a team of guys with you don't know the name if you watch footy in Australia, and then a PNG team turns up. Now it's like there's quality players and you know their names, you know what club they play for, and they're putting up a great fight.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really cool to see how many of these players that come from the Kumals that are going to end up playing for the Chiefs, because there's so much pride in PNG and everybody wants this team to be successful. I know this is a little bit off topic, but it's like I think they're going to really be able to draw some of these class native players back to PNG to play because everybody wants them to be so successful. So And I think it helps because now they've all been playing together. If you can bring some of these combinations to the Chiefs that have come from the Kumals, it gives you such a good base to be able to start building your team and becoming successful. So I think it's really obviously important for the business side of it as well, is to have some of these players that play for the Kumals that are going to be in the Chiefs, because it's obviously going to be help build the support of the NRL team. But I am really excited to see what PNG can do, and if they can contend with one of, I guess, the third place team in the Cup. I guess we're sort of just giving it straight away.
New Zealand.
Against New Zealand again, and see if they do a better job on it this time. But going to be really, really cool to see how far they can push that team.
Yeah. Alex Johnson also in this predicted lineup named in the team, but I don't know. Is there any news around? Wasn't he injured? Or no, he played
No,
out.
he played out the
Yeah,
last game because he was chasing the
try
record.
scoring. Yeah.
So he'll be around.
And also like a quality player that leads from the front,
Mm.
does his job, and can give a wealth of experience
Yeah.
to these other younger PNG guys.
Yeah, but I think it's like looking at this list. I think we're a little bit in of a not false sense of security, but you're a little bit unknown because so many of these players are playing in the Super League. There's like in this predicted lineup. So I think you sort of look at the team and go, all right, there's not these NRL names, but there's guys playing top flight footy in England, the next best league of rugby league in the world. So they're not unknowns, and they're doing massive things, just like Lachlan Lamb topping the statistic charts in the Super League. So yeah, there's a lot of unknown about them, and they can certainly push one of the cup teams to the limit, I think.
So we have also the Cook Islands who will line up in the bowl. A team that maybe probably on paper is not extremely strong, but they have a truckload of heart. And I think it's these kind of teams that you count out, but they can just turn up with some stuff sometimes. And they have their eyes set on a World Cup qualifier later in the year, and they will need to play well to get their combinations working and to give themselves a chance for the World Cup.
Yeah, definitely. But there is still a lot of class here. There's a lot of NRL names in the list. They've also got like a great forward pack. I think any of these island teams are going to have a class forward pack, and if you can build your systems and game plan around what your forwards can do, like anything can happen. And it's not like they don't have strike power. They've got Kaeliro who can score from anywhere on the field. So it's just getting early ball to your star backs, and tries will come, especially if your forwards are doing the hard work and winning that battle in the middle. Anything can happen.
Could Kaeliro, and this is not a betting preview per se, but could he be the highest try scorer in this tournament possibly? There's going to be a lot of points in these bowl games.
Yeah, absolutely, because any of these teams can leak, and it can be definitely a shootout, especially if you think how many, probably, Fiji versus the Cook Islands is going to be a big chance for him to score some tries. So definitely up there.
So as well as Hero, you have in this predicted lineup, Isan Masters, Brad Takarangi, Davi Moale, who is a quality front rower, Mason Teague, Piakura from the Broncos, Xavier Willison.
Yeah, I'm not sure where his allegiances lie.
Murata Niokore, a name here as well. I mean, there's guys here. They can put up a fight and they can have a good run.
100%.
And I think it'll be very good to see them, obviously, in the matchup against the Fiji Bati, who also now are starting to get a couple of names on their roster that will, it's exciting to see.
100%. The most exciting, I think, you've got to look at is the pair of Jarimbula and Taruva. They can obviously score from anywhere, both of those guys. So once again, it's building a platform with your forwards. You've got the Fainu brothers that are going to be leading that pack, and then getting your electric backs some early ball. You've got Waka Blake as well. Obviously, we know he can certainly score some tries. He's been playing for Bradford over in the Super League. So yeah, they've certainly got the talent, but it is also Fiji are going to struggle a little bit with their halves. You got Brandon Wakeham and I don't know how to say that name, and I don't even want to try, but Lanyon as the second name. So it's just sort of where these teams struggle, and it's where the difference is obviously compared to the cup teams as well. But there's a lot of chance. There's a lot of electric players that can certainly emerge here.
I think Fiji could push PNG quite far here. I mean, just look at the back line. Bula, Taruva, Valame, Blake, and probably Rinakama had a fantastic season with the Bulldogs.
You just roll these names off your tongue. I don't know how you do it.
Not hard to say Rinakama.
Yeah, but I would have struggled.
They've even spelt it wrong in the NRL list here. But Yeah, and then as you said, the Fainu brothers in the forwards, and Tane Milne, a guy that has played a lot of NRL, can't even make the starting side, in this predicted lineup. So I think Fiji have a good opportunity here to maybe produce one of their best tournaments that they've had in a long time. They play the Cook Islands in the first round, the very first game of this Pac Champs at Santos National Football Stadium in Port Moresby. So I think we'll get a good read on what the bowl could be just by seeing this first game and how Fiji and the Cook Islands line up against each other before then PNG come in round 2.
Yeah, but I think it's we've seen a lot of sort of different performances in the previous Pacific Championship games. Is sometimes that these first games give you a false read, and then they come up against like the next team, and it's just a completely different performance. I think you learn so much, obviously, from playing a proper match together, and then it changes things and you adjust. So, like, it's certainly wide open. It's not just clear cut that it's going to be PNG that walk over this. So
last year it was PNG in round 1, 22-10 over Fiji, and in that game, I'm just going to bring up some team stats. 50-50 possession. Fiji's completion rate was down at 71%. So you would expect maybe that to be a little bit better. Truckload of run meters, 1,800, 2,000. What else have we got here? 20 offloads,
which is huge.
13.
Considering the score line to have that much run meters, it just means that execution, obviously with the completion rate, that the execution was just a little bit off at the line.
But Fiji, 45 missed tackles. And I think looking at the team list here, you're going to get, it's such a different team. Mike Acevo, Michael Jennings, Kevin Nagama played at 5'8". A couple of other guys in that forward line, but you got no Kikau this time. Api Coruscant didn't play that game either. But I think this Fiji team this time around looks a little bit stronger, and I think their defense could be better, which means they could get closer to PNG here.
Absolutely.
In the second round, it was a little bit more 56-6 over the Cook Islands, but I don't know. I think the Cook Islands, as long as their fitness level is all right. I remember watching this game and the fitness just died out towards the end.
Yeah, they were absolutely in these games.
Yeah, so it was 24-6 at half time, but then it just really blew away.
And same against PNG, 16-14 in the week 3 game against PNG, and then just got run over in the second half in both of those performances. But it shows that they have something to work with. The bases there. They just need to play for 80 minutes.
So you're tipping PNG to go undefeated in the bowl? Yeah, I think so as well. But I think Fiji will be there close to them, and we'll give them a run for their money.
Absolutely. Going to be some exciting footy.
Definitely. Anything more to touch on with these Pac champs before we wrap it all up?
Does PNG beat New Zealand and move up this year? It's a massive call. It's huge. It's huge.
I think if New Zealand, if they finish third, which we're predicting they will, they probably have to make some changes in their lineup ahead of this playoff game.
Yeah.
And whoever it could be then that comes in at half, or whether it's a forward, it might be that they've finished third because there's injuries or something happened. I just can't see this New Zealand team losing. Like, just the quality of players in their team, I can't see them losing against PNG.
No.
If that matchup eventuates. What's your call?
Yeah, I don't know. I love the underdog PNG team, man. I love them. I love them. And I don't think you can tip it in. If you were to put $100 on it, you would tip that New Zealand would stay in. But I'm definitely backing PNG to make some waves.
Hold on, let me put you on full camera. Say it again.
I'm maybe not. If you're going to put $100 on it.
No, say what you said. I'm backing PNG
I'm backing PNG to make some waves.
We're going to cut that out and put it out on all the socials.
Yeah.
So put your face out.
That's right. Get it out there. I am big on PNG. Big on PNG. PNG's big on us. Let's go PNG.
Yeah, I'm on the I say Katoa and Tonga train.
Yeah.
I still think Samoa are going to probably win the tournament, but I think Tonga will really surprise a lot of people this time around.
Mm.
And unfortunately for New Zealand, like they're not a bad team.
Mm.
They're just not going to be as good as the other two.
Yeah. Which is huge now.
Yeah.
What are we saying? That they're not the next best to Australia
Well,
anymore.
they won the World Cup, won the Pac champs. They're one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, that was their golden era. Now they were third place in the Pac champs, third place again in the Pac champs this year. Yeah.
All right. Well, don't forget to head over to bets.com.au to find all the game previews ahead of the Pac champs every single week.
Mm.
And we'll be throwing in some videos there as well over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, don't forget to let us know what sort of content you want, anything you want us to dive into over this Pacific Champs period, because we'll be more than happy to do that.
Sweet. Send us home, buddy.
Oh, well, it's from us at bets.com.au.
NRL News as well. You can go
NRL News.
On Facebook. Follow that if you haven't already done it.
Yeah, there you go. That can be the last thing we say. See you later. We'll see you next week.